Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're watching for the first time, please go back and watch part 1. This is a continuation of my journey with love, and this is part 2. So we ended off part 1 where I broke up with this guy I was dating because I felt like we weren't equally yoked and I wanted a more godly relationship, and this was towards the end of my first year. When I broke up with him, I didn't know that I would spend the next 7 years single, as a single woman. I finished my degree single, got my second degree, still single, got my master's degree, still single. 7 years, 7 full years. It was never the plan, but it happened. So I left UFS as a single woman and I was fine with it, I was like, okay. I went out on dates, I was talking to a few guys, but nothing ever amounted to anything. And I was like, okay, sure, I'm not gonna obsess about this. Sure, I used to pray about it. I had a journal where I'd write down all the characteristics that I wanted in a future husband, but really I wasn't obsessing about it. Fast forward 2018, I started my master's degree, I come to Joburg. Something changed that year. I started enjoying being single. I started enjoying being the single girl, being wanted, being asked out on dates. I was like, this is fun. Until it wasn't. At some point it got really tiring. By 2020, I was tired. 7 years. I'm like, no, I've had my fun, I've had my run. Let's call it a day, Jesus. Thank you so much. I was like, no, I'm good. And then I meet this guy, right? We started off as friends. We were watching movies together, we're exchanging books, taking walks together at night. He's a good guy. He seems to be God-fearing, but there are things that don't align, spiritually. And I told myself, I've come so far. I'm not settling now, But realizing that here's this nice guy, and I can't lie to myself and say that he's the one when I knew deep down this is not the one. Because remember, I've prayed about it. I've written down all the characteristics that I want in my future husband. Although he checks like 80 to 90% of the boxes, there are deal breakers that he doesn't check. And I'm telling myself, I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna lie to myself. And I'm like, I'm trying, even though there was a time where I tried to convince myself, maybe I can change him. We tell ourselves that a lot as women, maybe I can change him. But I was like, I promised myself I would never do that. If I know it's a deal breaker, that one was hard, but I did it, and I'm so proud of myself. Yes. I remember when I prayed my last prayer, gay relationships. It was in June. It was so cold. And I was like, God, I'm tired. Here's this guy. He's a lovely guy, lovely man, God-fearing, smart, and he's not the one. Okay, I can accept that. I can believe that what you have in store for me is better than this, right? But I'm tired, man. I am tired. If it's not my portion to get married, then please remove the desire. Tell me if marriage is not my portion. It's fine. I'll accept that. I'll live my life, right? And I was like, this is the last prayer I'm praying. But if you want me to get married, the next person I'm dating is my husband. I remember telling God, I was like, okay, andifuni kwa talking stages, andifuni kwa I like somebody, andifuni kwa crush. I was like, the next person I like, the next person I date, I'm marrying that person. I moved to Helper, right? I've started my YouTube channel at this point. I'm posting here and there. I've never been consistent, still not consistent to this day, but it's fine. We'll get there. And I remember posting on Instagram about a video I posted on YouTube, like, hi guys, I've just posted this video, please go and watch, right? So in response to that video, I get a DM. I get a DM. Who's this DM from? DM is from Iggy. Who's Iggy? DM is from Iggy Shabs. But who's Iggy Shabs? We need to rewind back to 2013, back to my first year, when I first met Iggy Shabs. Okay, it's my first year. I just joined STASM, Seventh-day Adventist Student Movement on campus. You know, it's a student movement for Adventists. Basically, Adventists, if you don't know who Adventists are, we worship on a Saturday. We believe that the seventh day of the week is the Sabbath, and so we congregate and worship God on Saturday. So finally, this is around March. I joined STASM. A few weeks later, graduation week, you know. So the people who had been in STASM the previous years but were graduating were invited, you know, to come and share a few words of wisdom. And amongst these people, amongst these graduates, there's a guy. There's a guy who has my attention. You know, he gets up, he's tall, he's beautiful, he's brown, he has hair. Hey, you know, okay, oh, that's no one thing, guys. Okay, and then he gets up and starts talking. He has this deep, rich voice. I'm like, okay, and then I start listening. The wisdom. He sounded very intelligent. You know, he sounded like he knew the Jesus he was talking about, and he was very articulate, very well spoken, and I was like, I want that. I wasn't sure what I wanted, but I was like, I want that. I don't know if I want the man or I want what he has, that relationship he seems to have with his Jesus, with his God. I was like, I want that. I asked my friends, who is this guy? They're like, oh, that's Iggy. And I'm like, okay, I like Iggy. They're like, he wears white shoes. And I was like, what? And they're like, he wears white formal shoes. I was like, no. They're like, yeah. I was like, no. And because of that, my crush on Iggy Shabs was very short-lived. I was like, nah, if he wears white shoes, ladies, please, like, okay. You know, I know people like, no, you can teach him fashion. No, the fact that he thinks it's okay to wear white shoes, please stay away. So I stayed away. But before I stayed away, I went and found him on Facebook, and I started following him on Facebook. I was like, I want to know who this guy is, you know. And hey, he was a very serious guy. And I remember then, I was still very young, man. I still didn't know who I was. I was still trying to find myself, whatever that means, but I was like, I know I'm not the person I want to be for the rest of my life, and I need to work on that. And I knew I didn't want to be in a relationship, especially with that guy. So I'm just gonna stay away from him because he seems to be very matured and he knows what he wants in life. I was like, okay, let me just work on myself, and whatever happens, happens. This is my first year, remember. Second year, single, third year, forget about Iggy Shabs. Until I think my honors year or towards the end of my third year, I hear from this lady that Iggy Shabs is coming to visit STASM again. But then again, I hear from this lady that she and Iggy Shabs are an item. I'm like, okay, Iggy Shabs is the guy I used to like until I found out that he wears white shoes. So I no longer like Iggy Sharp, so I didn't think it was important for me to mention that to this lady. I don't know if I was being shady for not mentioning that I used to like Iggy Sharps, but yeah, he comes, he speaks, and sharp, the day ends, we go outside, I'm chatting with my friend, and he says something in response to what I was saying, but then that was just that. So fast forward around 2018, I think this is when Mark Zuckerberg had just bought Instagram, and Facebook and Instagram sort of became one thing. I remember I was on Instagram, and I saw a list of suggested friends from Facebook, and they were like, Iggy Sharps, you know this person from Facebook, do you want to follow them? I was like, oh, here's this guy I used to like, let me just follow him, right? I follow him, I think he follows me back. That's that. I then met up with this lady from Stasm. We were at Stasm together, we're just catching up. Aslebi, Askobozi, it's just, you know, she's just giving me updates on what's been happening. She mentions that Iggy Sharp and the lady broke up. And I'm like, oh, that's a shame, you know, didn't make anything of it. I was like, that's a shame, move on with my life. And then fast forward to 2020, I started my YouTube channel, posting a few videos here and there. I posted a video, posted on Instagram. Guys, please check out this video. Get the DM in response to the video. We start chatting. You know, kumnandi. He doesn't waste any time. Within 2 weeks, he asked me out on the dates. At first, I was like, okay, I'm not sure, because I had just prayed that prayer. Remember that prayer I prayed when it was really cold, about June, and I told God that I didn't want to waste anyone's time. I didn't want to waste my own time, and don't waste it. So I was like, I don't know, should I? But I was like, if I don't go, I'll never know. I agree. I'm like, okay, let's go out, let's go grab something to eat. Part of me, I'm hoping things don't work out. I'm like, I hope when he gets here and he'll just drive off, you know. But anyway, I get into his car. Such a warm guy, Unjani. If you know my husband, he's always thinking about money, So first few minutes, like within 5 minutes, saying booze by how much do you earn? Obviously there's context, but I'm like, you never ask anyone this question, especially if Kalumona and you are going on your first dates. I was like, I don't know, man, I don't know. We drive to Rokamama's Bank, and kumnandi, you know, the conversation is flowing, and I feel like my friend, you know. And I remember as we were talking, it's not an epiphany, but I had a moment where he was saying something and I could hear him talking, but I wasn't really listening. And I was like, so this is my husband. And I knew right then, but I'm gonna marry this guy. I didn't know how long it'd take, but I knew. But the guy sitting across me is the guy I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And this is where we'll end off part 2. I'll continue the story in part 3. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.
Welcome to my wife's channel, behind the camera. If you are new, please subscribe. It's quite a cool channel to be on. And yeah, subscribe. I think they say subscribe, and like the video. You find it informative, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video. Right? So there's also a notification bell somewhere. Yeah? You know how your YouTube works. Come on. So this episode she'll be sharing with you how she met me.
Oh no, you're so cute.